Well, it looks like employees that have enrolled in profit sharing with their employers are seeing really great returns on their investment within this quarter. Currently, it's an estimated 6.89%, depending upon which corporation you're in. Wall Street is posting some very good numbers as of late, and illegal border crossings are down by 60%, and Democrats and liberals say the president is doing a good job. Wait, did I just say that Democrats and liberals say the president is doing a good job? That's what I said, because there are many liberals now, as well as Democrats, who say President Trump is doing a good job.
Oh, I say. It's time once again for the Spearsy Spin with Mike Spears.
So what does that mean? Who's saying he isn't doing a good job? Well, that's got to be the folks that, well, I guess they're on the outer fringes. Anyway, the jobs market in the United States appears to be on the upswing, and that's something that we've needed to know and hear about for a long time. Even more good news is coming forward, as the Ukraine wants as much coal as we can produce. And money, money, money. And Trump is putting coal miners back to work more and more and more. Oil workers, well, their work is picking back up, and the search for even more natural gas to meet the foreign demands from the United States is ramping up. Now, this means more sales, it means more profit, and that equals more jobs, and not just minimum wage jobs. We're talking about jobs where folks can actually live. So, now that certainly is a bunch of positive stuff. So, why all the problems? Well, it seems as though that the problems stem from, President Trump not being the average politician. He shoots from the hip, he takes no prisoners, and he runs things his way. Now, most Democrats and liberals have been trained to hate Republicans for the most part. So when you now have a Republican president who's in no way conventional, the Democrats appear to go into meltdown. But wait, there's more. As hard as President Trump has been hit from all sides, even Republicans and even conservatives, and of course all the liberals, most of the liberals and Democrats, even with all that garbage, that's coming out, his base is growing. His base is growing. And at the same time, the Democratic base is shrinking. Now, for example, as of last week, the governor of West Virginia, who has been Democrat forever and ever, he said he can't work with the Democrats. He said, I can't get anything done. I tried to get help for years to get my people back to work here in West Virginia. Nothing would help. They wouldn't help. And now we have President Trump come in, and within days of him taking office, the folks in my state are going back to work. Things are looking up. People aren't selling their houses. They're not living, like refugees. But the Democrats wouldn't help him. So you know what? He changed. This week, he's now a Republican. And I think that really says something to the point that maybe the Democrats have to take a look at, where exactly we are with jobs. Where are we with jobs? So now there are folks like Maxine Waters, Dianne Feinstein, Debbie Schultz Wasserman, of course Michael Moore, and of course we have others, and the list goes on and on and on and on with these folks who are just constantly against President Trump. But now we have, of course, the psychologists who have come out here and they've come out there saying that President Trump is not fit to be president of the United States. So the two psychologists from the 5 boroughs of New York, we did a show a few months ago in which we identified them in the show. They had apparently spoke with someone, I believe it was from the Times, and we called them out on that because I don't know how you could possibly never even see a person, never talk to a person, and yet you're going to put out this systemic, I guess is the word I would use, this systemic overview of the president's mental proficiencies. Well, we never heard anything more from those folks. They kind of just disappeared back into the woodwork.
Honey, come in here and listen to this guy.
Why? Is it important?
Yeah, it's important. He's talking about the Trump administration and the CIA, NSA, and FBI investigations.
Oh, Ralph, you know I don't like politics.
Oh, stop talking and just come on over here and listen.
Well, he does have a nice voice. He seems to be educated.
No. Not his voice. Listen to what he's saying.
Well, if what he says is true, then there is a real problem in Washington. So this woman, Susan, what's-her-face, she leaked information or something?
Honey, you have to listen. He said that reports are now showing that information was leaked about Trump's cabinet members. I heard this on the news today as well.
Is this Fox News?
OMG, no. This show is called The Spearsy Spin, and the guy's name is Mike Spears.
Mike Spears. I'm wondering if this is the same man that did all the voiceover work at WNBC Radio in NYC back in the late 70s and early 80s?
Wait, you know this guy?
Well, I don't know him personally, but he did a lot of voices for WNBC 66 Radio and for Michael Sarzinski on that station. That was the only station we listened to back then. I recognize his voice and diction. He did voiceovers and impersonated voices, Howard Cosell and such.
Wow, he's been around that long?
Ralph, listening to Mike Spears talk about politics, well, it's kind of like having an old friend over to chat.
Wait, you mean you like the Spearsy Spin?
Ralph, sit down and shush. I want to hear what Mike's saying.
So there's that. And I just wonder in real life, if these people were to say about Warren Buffett or maybe even Maxine Waters, would they be sued? I'm pretty sure they would. So how is the president? Well, I think he's fine. I think he is an exact alpha male. And an alpha male in this political environment, well, there's no room for anything or anybody else. So he does not and he will not back down. And that's the way real alpha males are. Now, the president provides a cloak of uncertainty that, our allies may not fully understand, and our enemies, they fear it because they can't read Trump. So that's a good position for our enemies because they don't know how far to push the envelope. Now, as we look back on President Obama's political prowess, it's clear that, he managed his presidency through prose and oratory theater, at least for the most part. However, dealing with foreign entities such as, Iran and North Korea, that's really caused a separation both between allies and those on the fence under former President Obama, because they really couldn't find the strong points, but they seen a lot of weak points. And that's not attacking President Obama. That is just what the axis of evil, I guess. That's the way they saw that. But here's another thing to look at. George Bush, Bill Clinton, and of course George Bush Sr., they were more constrained as far as their presidencies go than President Obama. However, they too were very easy to read. And that's not really a good thing. Now, President Trump has pushed really hard for new sanctions on North Korea. And he has gotten Russia, Japan, the United States, and China He's got them all on board, and they will maintain the sanctions at any cost until all their weapons of mass destruction are identified and destroyed, regardless of whether they just started making it yesterday or whether they've had it for years. That stuff's all got to go because, hey, they shouldn't have that stuff, man. They are already talking about blowing up Japan and the United States. It's insane. But what of Iran? President Trump, of course, is well aware of the Iranians' hate for the United States. That's why he said no more money to countries that hate us. Makes sense to me. Now, Iran, well, they have decidedly shown for itself to be nothing more than a terrorist melting pot. Iran must also go by the way of North Korea if there is to ever be peace in the Middle East. Because Iran, besides wanting to kill the United States, also doesn't like Saudi Arabia and actually wants to be in charge of the entire Middle East. Now, ISIS is currently being treated to an entirely new set of ROEs. And for those who don't have the military background, in the military, that stands for Rules of Engagement. Because you see, President Trump has stripped away, for the most part, the ROEs.
Howdy. I was born in California. Been chasing cows and gold prospecting most of my life. Reckon I've done all right. Made more money than 4-pack mules could carry. But all that money means squat if the country you're living in is headed downstream to the falls on the Niagara. What happened to this country? Protesting, fighting, killing, folks offended by words, college kids getting safe spaces in their buildings to go to when life scares them. They get chocolate milk and told everything will be just hunky-dory. A safe space in college? What in tarnation's that about? That makes as much sense as putting tits on a chicken. Look, I don't have any answers here about America today, but my friend Mike Spears does. Why, he's got the education, the background, the grit, and does a fair job speaking too. He's got himself a show called the Spearsy Spin. If Mike tells you something on his show, y'all can take it to the bank. Well, these here cows ain't gonna drive themselves to Dodge City, so I reckon I best be moving along. Best you start listening to the Spearsy Spin with Mike Spears. Ha!
In short, here's what he has told General Mathis. Find the ISIS killers. Find the ISIS beheaders. Find the ISIS rapists. And eliminate them. Period. And that's pretty much the rules of engagement going on. When, this is the way that President Trump has said, or has set precedent, I guess is the way I want to say that. Because under former President Obama, the rules of engagement were basically, well, if they shoot at you, you can shoot back. But if they shoot at you or shoot one of your fellow soldiers, but then they immediately drop their gun, you can't shoot them. So basically, we're just putting people out there as targets. Now, let me leave everybody here today with a thought, and I really would ask that you think this through, okay? And try to picture this in your mind. This is important. If the United States was at war this minute, and the war was here on American soil, and every able-bodied person here in the United States had to fight, who would you choose for your foxhole buddy? Barack Obama or Donald Trump? Well, I'll give you my answer, and then maybe you can give us your answer. But my answer is this. Unless you know how to quickly talk someone to death, I'll take Donald Trump any day. Thanks for being with us, folks, and we will see you next time right here on the Spearsy Spin. Be sure to visit us at thespearsyspin.blogspot.com and let us know what you think of today's show or any of the other shows, because we got lots of them. Thanks, folks.
If the black dog of depression makes you feel like the saddest soul on earth, you're not alone. Around 350 million people share this debilitating but treatable condition. If you're worried about someone, ask if they're okay. If you're not doing so well yourself, ask for help. There is no shame in doing so. The only shame is missing out on life. So get help, be helped, and always hold on to hope.
Subscribing to the Spearsy Spin is easy peasy lemon squeezy. Just click the subscribe button.